It's no wonder the previous farmer left this thing behind. Back in the UK, the technical term, I think, would be, it's completely buggered, lad. So, I went to make a start on the last of the canola, the last harvest that I've got down in the canola field yesterday. Turned it on, and it sounded like an absolute bag of spanners. So, quite quickly I got on the phone to Tanner over at the dealership, and this morning he has sent over one of his finest technicians who has spent all morning so far with his head buried deep inside this thing, giving it a good once-over, or, well, thorough once-over, shall we say. Now, he's compiled a list so far somewhere. Where's he put it? Oh, here we are. Right, okay. Okay, so it's something of a comprehensive list, this, so where do I start? Let's have a look. So, he's written down that it has several bent feeder house slats. These can come loose and jam and possibly damage the feeder house if they're allowed to get any worse. The feeder house drive chain tensioners are at full extension. It has worn chain guides. Forgive me, I'm struggling to read this scribbly handwriting here. The top drive sprockets and the front drum bearings are completely worn out. The centre of the front half of the chaffer is very worn. The chaffer frame is riddled with stress cracks, which is a bit of a worrying thing. Yes, these can be welded and fixed, but obviously the list goes on. So the frame assembly bolts are all very loose. The chaffer frame, the bolts that keep that thing together are all very loose and rattly. It's got several bent fingers. It's got several missing fingers. Several of the deflector flaps are damaged. The cleaning shoe fan vanes, in brackets several, he likes that word, are bent. Now obviously the cleaning shoe fan, that's the balance of that is extremely important. If the fan is out of balance, it can eventually destroy itself, so that's no good. The fan belt is cracked, looks very old. Oh, hello. Yeah, we'll go on to that one in a minute. The elevator chains are very saggy and need replacing. There's a very loud bearing noise when he turns the elevators manually. It's got a lot of worn chopper knives. There are signs of stress cracks in the chopper mounting hinge points. Yeah, it's quite a list so far, and that's just the harvesting operational side of the list of things that he's found. As for the combine mechanically on its own, regardless of the harvesting business at the back, so far he's found that a couple of the drive shafts appear to be very worn and have a lot of play, and one of them is almost completely empty of grease as well, so that's so yeah, and the list goes on. He's still got his head buried inside there at the minute. It's just gone lunchtime. He's been in it all day so far, and I'm pretty sure that list is going to get much bigger. So there's a very strong possibility that this thing might be beyond economical repair. Like I say, it's now kind of apparent as to why the old owner of this place left it behind, because I think he clearly knew. To be fair, I'm quite lucky that it's lasted as long as it has, and the technician said that. I've told him I've done 3 or 4 harvests with it so far since I've landed up here in Montana, and he was gobsmacked, to be fair, and his advice was don't even drive the thing, hence why he's ordered the low loader to come and pick it up. He said he really doesn't recommend that I drive the thing anywhere, let alone run a harvest with it. So they're going to take it down to the dealership and see what can be done, but the reality is I think it might be game over for me and my relationship with this harvester. It's not cost me anything, obviously. Like I said, it's come with the farm, so I have been on the phone to Tanner again, and rather coincidentally, he has an ex-demonstrator vehicle that's just come in off a long-term demo down at the dealership. It's an X9 and 1100. So yeah, it's and he said, if need be, he said he'll do me a good price on that, because it has got, it's not well used. Obviously the X9's been around for a little while now, hasn't it? But yeah, he said he'll do me a good price on it. It's got a few work hours on it, but it is, obviously it's running immaculate. It's a demonstrator vehicle, so it's been completely serviced and looked after and run through by official John Deere dealerships over the last couple of years since it's been around. So, well, you never know. There's a possibility we might get another big green machine up here on the farm. But yeah, like the technician said, he doesn't recommend I drive this thing, so he's ordered the low loader to come and pick it up and take it down to the dealership. So we'll wait for him to finish what he's doing here. But for now, obviously we've got one field left, the canola field that I tried to make a start in yesterday. So we'll get to that at some point. Clara's, I don't know where Clara is actually. She's busybodying around somewhere. So we've got work to crack on with. We have. I'm going to run the quaddy here. I'm going to connect that up to the mulcher to the cultivator here, and we're going to run a bit of tillage in the fields there. We've got a couple of fields that we can run that in. Just get caught up and get everything to a nice similar point, I suppose. We've got a couple of fields that are ready to be drilled. We've got one field over there in the distance, quite a small one, small compared to the others anyway, that it's in a ploughed state at the minute. I haven't actually been into that field properly yet. I've cast my eye over it since I've been up here, but I've not had any machinery in there. So we need to run the cultivator over that one, and yeah, and then hopefully finish off the canola harvest. So I think this afternoon's work will predominantly be a bit of tillage, I think. So I'll wait for him to finish here. We'll potentially get the harvester loaded up. He's going to take the header and the trailer back with him behind this thing. Assuming he's got the right hitch, I think he can do that. Yeah, so he can take all that down. The harvester will go down on the low loader. Yeah, we'll get a bit of work done, and potentially, I think I might, if I've got the time today anyway, if I can get at least one or two of these fields done with this thing and the cultivator, I'll maybe go and pay Tanner a visit down at the dealership later on and have a look at this X9, see what that's got to say for itself. So, let's get this thing tidied away, shall we? Well, there she goes. Potentially off to the big combine scrapyard in the sky. You're going to make that corner? Goodness me, that was tight, wasn't it? You can slow down and all, sunshine. Goodness me. Well, what can we do? It's got to be done. There's not much I can do with that. Like he said, it's potentially beyond economical repair. And it's going to need a lot of money and a lot of work thrown at it. And because of the age of the thing, it might be just better just to buy a new combine. And to be fair, because it sounded a bit rough and a bit worn during the last harvest, I've had this, the seed has been planted in my mind, hasn't it? So, you know what I'm like. So anyway, quite like the idea of an X9. Obviously, I've got a little bit of experience with one. I know Jack had one back in Taheton, didn't he? That was a nice thing. And Mike, who we met the other day when we helped him run harvest, he's got a big X9 as well. It's a nice looking thing, to be honest. So yeah, and I'm open to a bit of green. A couple of feet off that, aren't I? So yeah, it's looking possible. What can I say? So let's get ourselves out into the field. I think what I'm going to do here, I am going to we're going to run this in what was the pea field, over to the right at the end of the lane here. Now I'm running the quaddy today because the 9570's still hooked up to the grain trailer, parked up at the jet wash there, ready to get a clean. So I kind of figured, because we weren't going to be running a harvest, I'll give it a wash over. So I'll leave that be, save me having to disconnect anything. We'll get this thing run over this. And I think what I might do, it's just coming up to 1:45 in the afternoon here, so I'm going to see what I can get done today. We'll start in this field, and we've got a slightly smaller field over there just in the distance, to the left hand side of those grain bins over there. So yeah, we'll see what we can get done. So let's crack on. Well, that's that 86-acre field done. I'm now making my way down to this one here. Now, this one's a bit smaller. It's just under 37 acres, I think. It's our smallest field, so as you can see, it's the last thing it had in here was a plough quite a long time ago, and that wasn't me. So we're going to work in this one. But while I'm down here, I figured I'd show you this, because I don't think I've been to put the camera down here yet, have I? But all these grain bins, all 6 of them, these are all mine, and they're kind of surplus to requirements. I really don't need them, because we've got our big grain silo system back there in the yard at the farm. I've got no real use for these whatsoever, so I'm thinking what I could do, and this is the kind of ideas that I've been going on in my head, because and it's part and parcel to do with spending such a long time looking at the classifiers and looking at used old tractors and combines and all that kind of stuff. I've kind of got a bit of a plan in mind for this little area, so I can get a little bit of money back from having these carefully dismantled and selling them on as they are. But what I was thinking of doing is having another workshop built on this plot of land. And as I say, because I've been looking at classifiers quite a lot, there's actually a huge amount of old tractors that are being put up for sale that nobody really uses anymore. And I love old stuff like that. Obviously, we've still got the 1455 XL that's still back over in Taheton being redone. That's essentially going to kind of be recommissioned, and that's going to be brought back up here again with no real proper use for it other than just to sit around and look good. I know it's kind of, some people might see it as a bit of a waste of money, but I really appreciate old tractors and old machinery, and it's yeah, it's something I'd really like to kind of do, is to essentially build up a little bit of a collection and just have a workshop maybe sat here that just houses them all. And when I say them all, I haven't, you know, I've only got one in mind, and that's hundreds of miles away, but at the minute anyway. But yeah, I might do that and have a like I say, have a bit of a shed built up here, and I can start a little bit of a collection going on. Some old tractors, old machinery, possibly some old cars as well. I'm not too sure. I've always liked cars as well. So I don't know. It's just an idea. It's quite a strong idea, and you know what I'm like. Once I've got an idea, I tend to aim for it. But that's all in good time anyway. But yeah, just thought I'd show you the idea that I had with that one anyway. So anyway, I've kind of I've let go of the idea of going down to see the X9 this evening. It's we're knocking on the door of about 3:30, 4:45 at the minute, so I don't think I'm going to have time. I'm not going to pester Tanner too much today now. There's no point in me mithering him. I can go and do that first thing in the morning, really, can't I? So we'll finish off the day with a lovely bit of cultivation up here. Get this one sorted out. Get it ready for a drilling. So I'll see you back at the yard in a few hours' time. That'll do. Decent afternoon's work, if I don't say so myself. I'm just going to loosely park this in here. There we go. That'll do. It was a bit close, wasn't it? Nah, we're all good. So now that those fields are done, sorry, that leaves me with 2 more. Once the canola's been harvested, we'll have 188 acres left to run tillage in. So keeping on top of my work, that's all that matters. Now, I was thinking I might go and give the RT a bit of a rinse over, but you know what, I'll leave that till the morning. Everything's good where it is now. I'm going to go and call it a day, call it an evening, go and put my feet up. And tomorrow morning, once I've done my usual round on the horse, I'm going to pay a visit down to Tanner at the dealership, and we're going to go and cast our eye over this X9, because I'm pretty sure we're definitely going to be taking it home and bringing it up here and at least running the canola harvest. And once I've spent a few hours in it, I'll figure out if it's going to be the thing for me or not. So I'll see you in the morning. Morning. Clara's been up since the crack of dawn this morning and sorted the horses out and been to check on the cattle as well, and I've only just succeeded in peeling my face off my pillow, so yeah, running behind a bit this morning, but it's all good. She's sorted everything out for me. Just grabbing myself a coffee now. Bit of wake up juice. Can't function without it. And this always helps to wake me up as well. coming out here every morning, have a quick brew, and just gaze upon this landscape, because it's just wonderful. It really is. Waking up to this every day is something else. It really is. But yeah, so got a bit to do. Clara's gonna give me a lift down to the shop, to the dealership, and we're gonna go and cast our eye over this X9. Well, I say cast our eye on it. We're gonna we'll have a quick look at it, but we'll be bringing it back up to the farm. I'm hoping it's got a hitch on the back so I can bring its header up with it as well. But yeah, get up here and we'll get the canola harvest done and dusted, get that boxed off. Now I suppose for a demo I'm not really taking it for very long, am I? I've only got one field to harvest with it, and ordinarily I suppose I'd need to keep it for a bit longer to decide whether it's going to be for me or not, but you know what I'm like, I'm relatively easily pleased as long as the thing works. It's a nice place to be, which I know they are. I have experienced a couple of X9s in the past, as I say. Jack had one, didn't he, back over at Taheton? And they are nice things. And I haven't discussed money with Tanner yet, but he did say he was going to do it me for a decent price if I was going to be interested in it. So we shall see. So let's get down there. See what we're looking at, eh? Right, here we are. Well, there you go. You see what I mean about the influx of people selling old machinery. Look at what they got here. Look at that. That is older than time itself, isn't it? Goodness me. Wow. What even is that? Can't really work out what it says. Oh, it's a Fordson. Jeez. But yeah, like I said, there's been a huge amount of people I've noticed, especially in the classifieds, selling old machinery. I love stuff like this. This is the kind of thing I'd like to have cleaned up, completely rejuvenated, and just have as museum pieces. It's yeah, it's been an idea of mine for a while. I'd love to. This one's a bit cleaner, isn't it? This is a Fordson as well. Super major. Maybe they come from the same person, I don't know, but lovely things. Clearly down here for a bit of work. What else have they got in the yard here? Hello. And there's our old thing. Haven't even bothered to take it off the trailer yet. I don't blame them. Couple of cotton harvesters. Nice. These are quite something, aren't they? CP690. I think these are both the same thing, aren't they? But, yeah. One folded, one unfolded. Incredible machines, these. They really are. Ah, so this is what we're looking at. Here we are. This is our header. 745 FD. Dual prairie wind system on here as well. Now, I think he said this was a 13.7 metre header, I think. Just under 14, yeah, it's a big one. But yeah. I suppose I don't need to worry about the hitch on the back of this thing. Clara can take it home on the truck, can't she? But yeah, this will get the job done pretty quickly, I hope. Very nice, very nice. Well, this is what we're here to see. The big X9. I do like the jewels as well. Set of Continentals, very nice. And this has got the demo stickers in the window, hasn't it? Yeah. I'm not too sure of the exact specs of it, capacity-wise and whatnot. I think it is slightly smaller capacity. Goodness me. Slightly smaller capacity than the old class here. But I'm not too fussed about that. That's a thing, isn't it? Goodness me, I wouldn't like to be responsible for the tyre bill on that thing. Wow. What a machine. So, yeah, right, okay. So I'll go and have a word with Tanner. So I can pick up the keys for it and go from there. Right, got the keys. Tanner said I can have it for as long as I want, which is all very good, but there's not much we can do with it after the next few hours, I suppose. Just get the harvest done, get it back into the yard and look at it, I suppose, and just cast my eye over it and spend a bit of time with it. See if I like it. Now, he said he will do, like I said before, he said he will do me a decent price for it, but wow, very nice. Something of a festival of beige in here, isn't it? No, but it's alright. It's got all the tech. Especially that I need, anyway. Now, this, like I said, it does have a smaller capacity than the Clars over there. It's just over 16,000 litres the thing will hold, so still pretty big. Pretty capacious, but yeah, a little bit smaller than what we've been used to. But it's better to have a smaller grain tank in here and have the thing actually work and be relatively well put together. So, okay. Right, well, Clara's not been hanging around. She's got herself hooked up to the header trailer already, so I'll give her a beep. And then we can get going. It's a proper wide boy, this. It really is. It's got some poke to it. Check that out. This is nice. This feels really smooth. Come on, love, you shouldn't be holding me up. I suppose she's taking her time. It is a big thing she's got dragging behind her there, to be fair. Better to be cautious. Right, anyway, we're going to go straight to the field and get this done. And then we can oogle at it for a bit when we've got it back in the yard afterwards, eh? Clara's going to drop the header off for me. I'll sort that out, and she's going to go and pick up the RT and the grain trailer. Now, obviously, there was no point in me giving it a wash this morning, was there? Not if we're going to be running this job. So we'll do that afterwards. So, see you at the field. Well, one of the first things that's immediately obvious as a difference between this thing and the old Clars is just how much quieter this thing is. It's beautifully comfortable and beautifully quiet in here. It really is. It's that old Clars used to make some crazy noises, didn't it? It sounded a bit like a spaceship at times, but this, yeah, this is very well insulated anyway. The cab, it's really good. So, and those weeds have sprouted quick, haven't they? They didn't hang around. It's a good job. The next job we've got to do in that field is run the cultivator, the landol, and get rid of them pretty quick. So Clara's left the header on the other side for me there, nicely, so I don't have to faff around in the tight spaces on this side of the field, on the side of the lane, sorry. So what I think I'll do very quickly and carefully first is let's get this thing unfolded. There we go. It's got quite a long pipe on it, this one, with a foldable end, which is very handy for compact parking, I suppose. So the lid's all opened up. There we go. It is a beautiful thing, isn't it? Let's be honest. Yeah. Very nice. So let's carefully get this header hooked up. Where are we? There we go. I think that'll do us. Let's just be careful with that one. Let's drop that down so I can reach the PTO a bit easier. Squeeze in here. There we go. And the cables are connected. Squeeze past as well. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, seems to run okay. Right. Let's get into this harvest, shall we? I'm still going to take my time and be careful here. Where's the last fence post there? That's us, I think. Last thing I want to do is go and damage something that doesn't belong to me yet. Right, we've successfully made that, haven't we? Let's just drop that down so I can see where I'm going a bit easier. Oh yeah, plenty of room. Okay, so let's power you up again. Let's get this done.
me to believe in the words that you say, but I can't be strong if you can't move on. Don't you think we've had enough of the trauma you bring? Ain't you tired of thinking we can get through anything? 'Cause I can't move on if you can't be strong. But every time I hear you say my name, it always feels the same. 'Cause I loved you for a lifetime. We can run through fire and rain, but it always feels the same. And I waited for a lifetime. So you say you wanna change, but lately things have been the same. And it's my heart you're holding back again. And I can't be strong if you can't move on. Every time I hear you say my name, it always feels the same. 'Cause I loved you for a lifetime. We can run through fire and rain, but it always feels the same. 'Cause I loved you for a lifetime. Now is the time for you to leave the past We can run through fire and rain, but it always feels the same. 'Cause I loved you for a lifetime. When I hear you say my name, it always feels the same. 'Cause I've loved you for a lifetime.
Well, this yield is terrible. It really is. I know Mike did a little bit of work for us in the fields in the transition period between us coming up here and the old guy moving out, but yeah, the numbers are pretty low, let's be honest. I think we're barely averaging about a ton a hectare here. We've got about 30 tons in the trailer. We're still on our first trailer load. And I'm almost finished. I've got probably 25 minutes left, a couple of rows to finish off. But yeah, we're still on the first trailer load, and even that's not full. I think that trailer's about 80% full. So we've got, like I say, about 30 tons in the trailer. Currently got about 7 tons behind me here. I'm not expecting a huge amount, so I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? There's not much I can do about it, but it would have been nice to get some slightly bigger numbers, but what can I do? But on the plus side, this harvester is wonderful. It really is. It's been powering on. It's doing really, really well. I'm not expecting it to do bad, obviously. It's a well looked after, well serviced, well maintained piece of kit. It's considerably dirtier than it was when we first picked it up this morning, but yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So I'll get this lot finished off anyway. As I say, I've not got too much longer now. Got about 20 odd minutes, I think. 25 minutes if I'm lucky. So yeah, we'll get all this lot pulled out of the ground. We'll get everything back up to the farm. And we'll go through the final numbers, which I'm expecting to be pretty dismal. So, see you shortly. Well, there's the last of it. And the numbers really weren't that good. I wasn't too far off with my guesstimate of about 50 tonnes. I think in total, what we've got in that trailer and what we've got over in the silo is just under 55 tonnes, 54.8 if I aim to be even slightly precise. So, yeah, numbers weren't great whatsoever, but, I mean, 50 tonnes of something is better than no tonnes of something, I guess, so I know that we can certainly do better in this field once we get our next seed into the ground. We've got all of our prep to do, and that will hopefully, come next year, lead to some much better yields. So, just wait for Clara to get that thing out the field, and then I'm going to squeeze my way over here. We're going to stick the header back onto its trailer, and then I think I'm going to do my best to try and hook it up to the back of this and get them both back up to the yard. So, I'll knuckle down with this for a few minutes. I'll see you back up at the farm in a second or two. I need to swing out a bit wide for this one, with me having the header behind. There we go. Yeah, I think we're in okay. I'm going to go straight for the jet washer. Now, I don't think under any circumstances that this big wide boy is going to fit onto the ramp there, so I'm going to try my very best just to hug it as tight as I can. Because I know that the hose on the pressure washer isn't that long, but let me just see if I can do my best to not run over my ladder. There we are. That'll do. I'll see if I can get at least one side of it anyway. And another positive thing, this thing is so much more economical on fuel than the old Class was. We've got about half a tank left in that, whereas the Class would have used, well, it'd probably have about a quarter of a tank left. So, yeah, that's all good. I think it should reach down here anyway, at least. Not going to get it all the way around to the other side, I don't think. Give these wheels a bit of a clean off. I think what I'll have to do, it's a bit of a faff, but I'll give this side a clean. See if I can get it to reach the header there as well, and I'll have to essentially just turn it round and do the other side. Don't really have much of a choice. But I've got to say, I'm very happy with this thing. I really am strongly considering making that purchase. Come on, see if I can stretch it out as far as I can. Yeah. To have a bit of a discussion with Mr. Tanner down at the dealership, but depending on the amounts that he can suggest to me, I think we might have this thing. There we go, right. I'll have to turn it round, like I say. Let's see if I can get the other side. So yeah, I'll get this done. I'll see you in a second. Right, there we go. That's this side clean now as well. Bit of a job that, but needs to be done. Got to look after these new machines, haven't we? There we go. And the header's nice and clean now as well, so let's just leave that be for now. And we were exactly bang on the money there. We got 54.8 tonnes of our canola into the silo here, so a bit disappointing. It really is, but it is what it is. The yields will get better, that's for sure. So, this one's next for the wash, for sure. I was going to do that this morning, wasn't I? But no, we'll get that thing shifted. Do with finding a place for that to live, actually. Is that even... I just had a thought as to whether that's even going to be too big for this shed door. Goodness me. If it isn't, it's going to be very tight, but I hadn't even considered that, you know. Goodness me. Oh well, we'll figure that one out. These big machines, goodness me. Right, anyway. That morning's work has brought us very nicely up to lunchtime, so that's what I'm going to go and do now, because I'm starving hungry. I'm going to go grab some lunch. We'll see where the afternoon takes us.